I'm so grateful to have the glorious and gorgeous Elissa Goodman on my podcast today. Thank you so much for being on.
Oh my God, like I said, I would do anything for you. I mean,
I wish. Okay.
We don't know each other that well. I mean, we haven't spent a lot of physical time together, but like every time we are together, or if I talk to you on the phone or anything, it's just like there's this like, you know, fireworks go off. I mean, that sounds bizarre, but
nope. It's kindred. It's full kindred. I wish, you know, I know we turned the video off, so the sound quality is better. Thank you so much to my editor. But my smile right now is like basically from like Santa Monica Boulevard to, you know, Pasadena. So,
so thank God for people like you in the world.
Oh my God, you too. Can you talk to us? I feel so privileged to have you back, but can you talk to us a little bit? Or I call my listeners my little savages because, you know, we're Savage Lifecast now, about who you are and what you love to do and what you do in the world.
Absolutely. I am a certified holistic nutritionist, and I do run a cleanse program for the last 6 years out of LA. It's just local. I cook and deliver a cleanse to about 60 people 3 weeks out of the month. So I love doing that. I love being able to like nourish and nurture people. It's been going on, like I said, for 6 years. And then now this year we've been shipping out. I have these super seed bars that we've been shipping out across the country, about 1,000 bars every other week. So that's been really, really fun. Never wanted to be in the bar business, but for some reason that is starting to pick up some steam. But so I see clients, you know, one-on-one, but my background is that, you know, growing up as a kid, I was never healthy. I came into the world with like a low white blood cell count, and they really didn't know what to do with that in those days. And so my immune system was always compromised. And on the top of it was I had two parents who were very successful in their life, very driven. And basically I was kind of always not feeling good, behind the eight ball. And they were always like, what's wrong with you? You know, why can't you keep up with us? And so basically through the years I was very emotionally, like I didn't feel good about myself. My self-esteem was really low because I thought, you know, I couldn't keep up with my parents, and they were always wondering, you know, why I wasn't doing what I needed to be doing. And I was always tired and I was always sick. And then they labeled me a sick kid. And I also labeled myself a sick kid. So in a nutshell, growing up, there was a lot of health issues. And then I decided I move away from where I grew up. It was Arizona to New York. And I thought, okay, I'm going to make it in the world. I'm going to be successful like them. And I tried to climb the corporate ladder. And of course, you know, really wasn't very successful in regards to, because of my health, was always sick. And then I got married and moved my husband to Los Angeles because I was like, I need to slow down. I need to figure out my life, and things aren't really working for me. And the minute like I moved to Los Angeles and landed a really amazing job that I thought was amazing, here was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, and at 32 years old. So that was a massive wake-up call, and it was the best wake-up call, because I'm sitting here now telling you that, because at that, basically my life stopped and I was able to reevaluate what was working and what wasn't working. And so much wasn't working. My emotional well-being was horrible. My self-esteem was bad. You know, I wasn't eating well. I didn't even know what that looked like. I dabbled in it, but didn't really know how to be, you know, sustain it and stay with it.
Sure.
And so I really changed my life then. I went into therapy. I started doing yoga. There was a juice place down the street from where we live. So Beverly Hills Juice, if anybody lives in LA, they know that place. It's still there, shockingly. And I used to go get juices daily, and I became a vegan. I did I went to a naturopath, and I did colonics. I did the whole gamut. I was just like, let me explore, because I know that there's a better world out there. I sort of have that mentality. You know, the grass is greener. It's going to be better. I was lucky. I didn't do chemo. I chose not to. I did some radiation. I chose half of it, and I was able to heal. And then I went on to successfully have two girls. Then 11 years after my diagnosis, my husband's diagnosed with non-Hodgkin's lymphoma at the age of 43 and a half. And I know it was just really crazy making, like, what the hell? And he went through all of the Western medical procedures and died a year and a half later of fungal pneumonia. And I feel basically like they killed him because he didn't die of the cancer from the cancer. He died of immune compromised system. And here I was at 45. I had a 10-year-old and a 7-year-old and going, what the hell am I going to do with my life?
Yeah.
And then I have these two girls thinking, oh my God, my parents both had cancer. And I, was exhausted and so deprived after he died because I wasn't taking care of myself during those years when he was sick. I was just trying to take care of him. That's what us women do, right?
So I was too well.
Yes. And so then I took a couple of years, got my feet on the ground and went back to school and got certified in Eastern and Western nutrition and all the different modalities, and also did some trauma work and still stayed in therapy and, spiritual work. And I wasn't going to be a nutritionist. That wasn't the goal. But when I graduated, I basically got asked by Cafe Gratitude and M Cafe to put a food delivery program together for them, like a cleanse.
Wow.
And I did that for years and years and loved it. And then that propelled me into this whole world. It's been 10 years now, Alexa, and I can't believe it, but it's been the best 10 years of my life because I've met the most incredible people along the way, like yourself, and people who are just, grounded in spiritual and just searching for a better life and a calmer life and a peaceful existence, and are looking to be healthy and, connect. And I never knew what that was like. So I've been able to have that experience this last 10 years. Wow. And like I was saying to you earlier, I'm like, I wish everyone could have that experience, really.
Oh my God, I wish they could too. And to hear your groundedness and to hear your story and where you are and how you show up for people, you're still nurturing people. But I think the difference is I don't know, and maybe this is just me energetically reading into you in a correct way or incorrect way, but I think you're really also incredibly good at taking care of yourself. And it shows in the way that you look and the way that you show up and in the way that you care for your family, and certainly in the way that I've interacted with you. It's such a cool thing to see and to witness.
Thank you. It took a lot of work to get there. I mean, I honestly could say, one of the pivotal moments in my life was a couple years ago. I don't know if we talked about this, but I was having some insomnia and really bad insomnia. And I never had insomnia in my entire life. And it came down to I feel like one night, and I was thinking to myself, for some reason, what came up was probably in a meditation I was listening to, do I love myself? And I said, no, I don't love myself. I don't even know what that looks like. And that set me on the path of, really exploring that and really sort of unfolding the reasons why I don't love myself and why I don't take care of myself the way I should. And that was the pivotal point. Like, once I started really loving myself and realizing how incredible I am, not in an ego way, but just because I'm human and I get to do what I do, that's when everything changed.
And we so need you to do what you do. It's so beautiful. And that is exactly it. And that sense of self-love and the way that you show up with that, that's very much why I created Savage, right? Is because I wanted people to feel like they could love their body and give themselves permission, to experience pleasure in a healthy way, in a mindful way. So I would love if you would be so kind to just share a little bit around, mindful eating and how that is such a powerful and potent tool for us. And I mean, for me, I know that when I'm really caring for myself, I eat more mindfully. I'm not just shoving it down my throat. I'm not rushing from one thing to the next. Can you just talk to us maybe a little bit about the benefits of being mindful around food?
Yes. And I'm sure you've heard this phrase, food is medicine, right?
Yes, of course.
And it is. Basically, we need food, we need the nutrients, to really be the healthiest we can be and thrive. But what's happening these days is the stress is enormous. Even with my clients, I'll ask them what the stress level is from 1 to 10. And some are like, it's over 10,
12.
I'm sure you hear that too. And not
Yes.
sleeping and all that stuff. And that's really causing all kinds of health issues. And it's causing us to not eat, you're right, mindfully, and we're not eating healthy. We're not making healthy choices. It's so crucial to be mindful and to try to be relaxed when we eat, because when we are stressed, our digestive system completely shuts down. So we're not sleeping and we're stressed. I mean, we could eat really healthy food, but it's not going to digest properly. We're not going to really break it down to where it needs to be to absorb the nutrients into our cells and into our bloodstream. So it is crucial to try to figure out, thank God these days for people like you that teach about breath work and yoga and slowing down, right? And loving ourselves enough to give ourselves that, breathing room to relax and to digest our food. It's crucial. I think mindful eating also to me is really teaching clients and everybody to eat more plants and vegetables and fruits and things that are grown from the sun, because that energy from the sun is so crucial for our vibration. And we don't eat enough of that. We definitely are still focused on protein and healthy fat. And we aren't even focused on fiber, but the protein and healthy fat, right? So I teach them that half the plate really needs to be leafy greens and vegetables and fruits. And then a quarter is protein and fat and a quarter is complex carbs. And that's where the nutrients are. That's where, the vitamins, the minerals, the phytonutrients, the antioxidants, everything that's going to reduce oxidative stress in the body and lower inflammation and also give you energy and rebuild things. So, it is all of the healthy eating, the mindful eating is so crucial.
God.
Being healthy.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Totally. Well, even before we began this podcast, you guys, everybody, ladies, gents, all the things, we were saying this time is so stressful. I mean, this podcast will probably be released in like a couple weeks, maybe 2 weeks. So hopefully we'll actually know who our president is by then. Yeah, because it's like, it's just this stressful time. I've been seeing people posting, on Instagram and on Facebook. They're like, how I'm handling the election. And it's like bottles of booze and like French fries and fried chicken. It's like, we're not exactly setting ourselves up to feel good through this time, right? It's crazy.
We go for that, comfort food, don't we? Or we want to numb ourselves out. I get it. I did that the other night, and my indigestion was over the top.
Yeah.
I'm still feeling it 2 days later.
Oh, the body is like, it's such an organic organism, right? It's like you mess with it and it's like, okay, honey, you can do that. But like, I'm going to show you who's boss. Like you're going to not feel good for a while.
Got it. Yep.
It's so wild. It's so wild. And that stress response, I mean, it's like, I feel like today, I don't have a yoga client, period, that doesn't have some sort of GI issue, that doesn't have some sort of leaky gut. Like, I feel like everyone has autoimmune now. Yep. And what do you think that's about? Is that mostly what we're eating? Is that mostly stress? What's behind that?
I really feel, it definitely is stress and lack of sleep, lack of proper sleep, enough hours, because people think they can get by with 5 or 6, but it really is 7 or 8. Yeah. And it's the stress is enormous with just everything going on in the world. And it also is what's happening is I feel is we are very toxic humans. I don't think we used to be as toxic as we are today, but we have way more toxins coming at us. We have, speaking of viral issues, of the COVID thing. I mean, we have viruses that have been around for a long time that have been in our system. We have bacteria, we have heavy metals, we have pesticides. We have so much shit that is being like the air we breathe, the water we drink, right?
Yes.
So the clothes we wear, I mean, the dry cleaning, I mean, we could go on, the beauty products we use. I mean, our body is so toxic, and it goes into the organs, into the bloodstream, and it hangs out in there, all these toxins. Yeah. So our body knows how to detox, but we have way more toxins that our body knows how to detox these days. Yes. So I think that is part of the autoimmune and gut issue as well. We're heavily toxic. Our intestines are. I think I've been seeing a ton of SIBO.
Yes.
That I think is, a viral issue in the intestines. A lot of doctors just think it's a bacteria overgrowth, but because we have, viruses in our organs, and basically it's causing all kinds of havoc in there, and we're really seeing, not healthy intestines, thyroid, liver. So like I said, they're just, there are a lot of toxins that aren't being excreted enough. Yeah. We don't know how also to live a cleansing lifestyle as well.
Yeah.
We just think when we get tired and we get sick, we're going to now, oh my God, now it's time to cleanse, or we gain weight. But really we should be living ongoing, a detoxing, cleansing lifestyle. And that's not really hard, because it's about de-stressing and doing what you do. It's about sleeping, because that's when we do, cleanse and detox through the night. Yes. And also it's about drinking enough water and hydration. We are massively dehydrated society. We don't have enough minerals in our soil and our food to have water go into our cells to really help us feel hydrated. We're just peeing this water out. And water is a huge cleansing agent.
Yes.
And we aren't eating enough vegetables, because those are super, cleansing. So,
damn it, Elissa! Why? God damn it! Well, this is why you have to do what you do, because we need you. Where would we begin? Like, where do we begin if we're wanting to cleanse the body? If you're in LA, of course, obviously, let's do an EG moment. But if you don't live in LA and you've already gotten, the bars from Elissa, what do we read? What do we do to help this sweet little body of ours?
So, first and foremost, what's really important is being hydrated.
Okay. And
that is, I'm telling everybody when they wake up in the morning, they have to drink a mandatory of 2 cups of water, 16 ounces. You can't believe you do that, I'm sure. But
oh yeah, it's my first thing.
Right? You can't believe how many people don't do that. They go right to their coffee, their matcha, or even, food. So
cannot.
You wake up, you're dehydrated. You're dehydrated because you've been detoxing and cleansing all night. And your liver works all through the night as well. So you wanted 2 cups of water. And if you put lemon in it, lemon is an antiviral for the intestine. So it's beautiful.
Great.
And then you want to just make sure that you drink 90 plus ounces of liquid throughout the day. That doesn't mean it has to be strictly water, but it can be, your juices or your smoothie or your soups or,
or your wine. No, I'm just kidding. Sorry. Yeah. What? I'm sorry. Did that just come out?
I agree. I'm a drinker. But alcohol and animal protein, I just want to tell you, they're actually very dehydrating. So you just want extra water if you're going to do that. But I'm, of course, been a juicer since I have cancer. And so I juice almost every day, probably 5 out of 7 days. And I just do. Celery juice is really rampant because of the medical medium.
Yes.
The reason why people are having such an incredible result with the celery juice is because it's hydrating them.
Yes.
Right? It has minerals in it. It's full of minerals. So they've never been that hydrated. So their organs have never felt so good.
Totally.
And so it's just having a green juice or going to a place where they make juices and having them make one for you. Or it's an incredible greens powder that you throw in water and you get some nutrients that way. Or you throw it in your smoothie, or you make a veggie soup that's pureed, or even a veggie soup that isn't pureed. But those are some of those simple things that can easily put you on the map to detoxing your body and cleansing.
That's so good. I have been doing I wake up, I have at least 2 cups of water with lemon, and then I have a celery juice or like a celery cucumber lemon juice, something super hydrating. And my friend Rumor, we're like sisterhood. We went to high school together. We were roommates in high school. She's like, it's like a Roto-Rooter for your intestine is what she calls it. I'm like, yes, girl. It just it does. It just moves everything out.
Do you juice it yourself, or do you go get it?
I have vacillated. So I have a juicer, and sometimes I juice it myself. And if I don't, then I live really close to a creation. So I do like a creation moment. I also live pretty close to Erewhon. So I do a little Erewhon moment too.
Right. I know it is a Roto-Rooter. I mean, it is. I mean, that's another thing. I mean, we should talk about is, going to the bathroom once a day is considered constipated. So
wow.
Most of us are so happy, we went to the bathroom once a day, we're done, but
not it.
No, we're supposed to go 2 to 3 times, talk about cleansing and detoxing.
Oh my God.
Yeah, we don't. So that's all because of hydration and not getting, the fiber we need. And
yes. Oh, these sweet little bodies are actually full of shit.
Yeah, they're full of shit.
They're full of shit. These poor little buds.
I've heard stories where, people have just had pounds stuffed in their colon. So that's a whole other podcast, right?
Oh my God. That is a whole other podcast, but I am all about it.
I would think your chocolate would help. Your chocolate's going to help also, I feel like.
Oh, for sure. It's kind of like caffeine. I mean, it has that little caffeination. It definitely helps move things along.
Yes, it does.
And it's vegan. So that's helpful. There's no dairy in it. So it's, a little anti-inflammatory.
Right. There was a story I was telling about this guy, Zach Bush. He's well known in our industry, and he basically did a study at University of Virginia, and he had college kids eat 2 pieces of pizza. They were 800 calories. He tested the transit time it took to get through their small intestine. And then he had them eat 800 calories worth of a plant-based meal. It was funny because they were like, they had to eat so much more food with the plant-based meal to fill up to the 800 calories. Oh, yeah. And so it took 14 hours for the 2 pieces of pizza to get through their small intestine and 90 minutes for the plant-based meal.
Oh my God.
Crazy, huh?
My love, I am so happy and so pleased to announce that this episode is brought to you by my very own company, Savage Chocolates, which is all about cultivating a more loving relationship to your body and to food. We don't really believe in guilty pleasure. We just believe in pleasure done well. Right? Have you ever had that candy bar or a thing of ice cream and you eat it and you're like, wait, I don't remember eating that. Wait, where'd that go? Well, that's why I created Savage Chocolates, because I know the importance of pleasure. And I think that we don't slow down enough to actually experience it. And so if you are wanting to eat mindfully, if you are wanting to be reminded of how to actually experience your pleasure, then please go to www.savagelosangeles.com to order your goods. All right, you guys, let's get to it.
I mean, and to think about how much energy it takes to digest food, 14 hours of work for your digestive system or 90 minutes of work for your digestive system.
Yes. Yeah.
I mean, that's insane.
Right now, too, with what's going on with the stress with the election, or hopefully when we do air this, it's over, but maybe there's still aftermath of stress because we're still dealing with COVID, right? And
exactly
all the issues that might come out of the election. But It's just, I'm not a strict vegan. I'm probably 70% plant-based, and I don't preach to, people to be vegan, but, plant-based is easier on the body. It's just, if you are stressed, it's easier to eat plant-based when you're in that state.
Well, and it's just so delicious. Like, that's the thing too, is I think the problem is we have this perception around it that like we have to sacrifice so much. And that's just not the truth. Like, I'm actually very similar in that way. I'm probably, I'd say about 70% as well. I probably eat meat like once a week.
Yes.
And I also have some anemic stuff from my history with anorexia. So I also, especially like around my moon cycle, I need some red meat. Otherwise I start to feel kind of fainty, passy outy. And so that's just kind of my story with it. But my body loves being plant-based.
I don't mean to interrupt, but that's such perfect mindful eating practice. Right? I mean,
thank you.
That you're so in tune with your body that you know exactly what you need.
Yes. Yeah.
I don't get that often either with people.
Totally. It's amazing how, I feel like one day we're going to have to join forces, because I think the truth is like, you can't have a healthy relationship with food if you're totally unconscious.
Yeah.
And, for me specifically, like, I know, yes, of course, sometimes we all undereat, sometimes we all overeat. That's part of the process. But I find that I'm much more balanced when I'm in a state of awareness. And when I'm going super unconscious, that's when I have the tendency to be like, oops, well, I ate too much of that and I feel sick for 3 days now, or whatever the case may be. And for me, like, if I eat too heavy, particularly in the day, I need a nap by 2.
Right.
Like,
Same.
it's nap time. Like, if I were to eat a big burger for lunch, like, nap. And I don't want that. I'm an adult. I'm not an infant. I don't need to nap at 2.
I know. Napping is healthy, but
It's true.
I have too much that I want to do and get done.
Yeah, totally. I feel like, I feel like too, when we, and maybe this is your gig, maybe this isn't, but particularly around like our perception around food, like, I feel like if we go into, or if I personally go into eating a meal or eating something specific with this mentality of like, ooh, this is really bad. Like, ooh, I should feel bad about this. Or we're all energetic, right? Like you're talking about the energy of the foods, like,
yes.
The energy of the food, we end up taking that on. So like the energy that we bring to the eating, does that not affect the way we digest it as well? Like, if I'm like, oh my God, this is really bad, I shouldn't be eating this. Like, is it not going to be harder for me to digest that?
Absolutely. It is.
It has to be, right?
Because it's going to stress you out. I mean, it's going back to like what we're talking emotionally, those thought patterns, that we are telling ourselves we're not good enough. We're sad. We're not smart enough. Oh my God, I'm eating this bad food. It's the same scenario. Everything kind of just shuts down when we do that. And we operate, as 90 to 95% out of our subconscious. And that's all in our subconscious. We're barely conscious. So it is, it's totally, I love food. I'm a flexitarian like you, and I love to enjoy myself, and I'm social. So when I am going for it, like, I just am like, okay, I'm going to enjoy this, right? Those French fries or that pizza or those couple of tequilas.
Yes. I love it. We've shared a couple tequilas in our day.
Yes.
At Ryan's house, I remember we had a couple tequilas. We were like, oh, hey, girl.
Yeah. But the cool thing is, probably you too, I know after I do that, I know what to do the next day.
Yes, same.
Yes, I don't usually feel so great that morning.
Yes.
But if I do my water and I do my green juice and I eat light with plant-based food throughout the day, I'm kind of back, in action.
And if I sweat it out.
Yes. Oh God.
if I can move the body, then we are golden. That is to me and I love a few drinks, but I'm not like a huge like hangover gal these days because I just don't throw down as hard as I used to. But like, if I can move the body, all is well.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Yes, that's so important too. And also, talking about yoga, I mean, yoga is my lifesaver. It gets me back in my body. I'm an Aries, and I don't know, I'm just a lot of times out of body because I'm moving way too fast and doing, things need to be done yesterday in some respects. And I need to get myself always back grounded continually, daily, hourly. So yoga has just been a lifesaver. And when I'm back on the mat, it's a saying that a lot of, as you probably say, I mean, it's just like I feel grounded when I step on the mat. It's like, okay, now I'm back. And now I can feel I can go over what things I've been, doing right and wrong with my eating or my drinking or and even emotional stuff. So.
Yes. Oh my God. Completely. The mind-body connection is such a powerful thing to integrate. And when we start to do that, it's, you can't unsee it, right? You're like, oh, I know that works. Like, I know that is a tool that I can put in my toolbox, right? That presence piece.
I think it's so hard these days to get really, really ultimately healthy and thrive if you don't have both.
Yeah, I totally agree. So just as far as and I don't even know if this is a thing really, so you're going to school me so hard right now. Potentially foods that are good for calming the nervous system. Like, are there foods that also help you slow down or foods that help you reset or anything of that nature?
Absolutely. I mean, I also love talking about this subject because, this also, we don't really feel the central nervous system and it's rating, probably way too high for us on an ongoing basis. Right. But the complex carbs in foods like, sweet potatoes and squash and all the squashes, sweet and the potatoes and the, wild rice and quinoa and the good, healthy, gluten-free, I think, wild rices, and carrots and beets and legumes and beans and all of those things are incredibly calming for the central nervous system. So again, going back to the plant-based world, and I love eating that way at night because it gets you ready for bed.
Yes.
It does, it's full of minerals.
God, that's so interesting too, because when you look at like from a yoga perspective, if you were to look at the chakra system, like your root chakra is your base chakra, right? Like you need to get rooted and all of those things you just mentioned are roots.
Yes. They are. Wait, I didn't think. I
mean, it's all like root vegetables, like or things that like grow from the ground, like they're potatoes, carrots. They're all roots, right? Am I wrong?
Yes. No, you're right. You're right.
It's just interesting. I don't know about grains though. Where do I don't even know how grains are.
They grow they grow in the ground too. So
wow.
Right.
So getting grounded.
Just getting grounded.
That is such a trip.
And things that are full of that, magnesium is mine.
Oh, yeah, me too.
Right.
Calm. I live off of that stuff.
Powder, right?
Yes, it's so good.
I have all my clients on magnesium before bed. And it's
so good.
700 enzymatic reactions in the body. I mean, it's not just helpful and calming the system down, but it's so crucial. So any foods like with magnesium, leafy greens, even spinach, Swiss chard. Yes. And then there's also the nuts and seeds. So those are all really important as well.
I love that. What should I'm assuming I already know this, but people who are like really new to this, the irony I'm sure is phenomenal, but when you are in a stressed out situation, when the nervous system is on high, what should we be avoiding? What are the things that only spike us?
So that would be sugar, of course.
Which of course we want to reach for.
But not your chocolate, because not added sugar. Your
of course.
Right? That's added sugars that are bad, the crappy sugars.
Of course.
And I would say, dairy is really inflammatory and really hard for the body to digest. And gluten can be really tricky for people.
Yes.
And a lot of times because we're just eating way too much gluten.
Yes.
Just like, and bad oils and, things that, the body just doesn't like, and doesn't know what to do with it. Chemicals in the processed food. So
all the things that we like to reach for when we're stressed out are basically the very things that are messing us up even more.
Yes.
It's so real.
Or, I'm definitely, like I said earlier, a pasta girl. So there's so many good gluten-free pastas out there. So to do a gluten-free pasta with a really good, tomato sauce. So that's the way to go. Right? Or even
live off of gluten-free pasta these days.
Yeah, exactly. I know that people are just totally heading that direction more and more. Thank God. So
have you tried that Bonza pasta? How do you feel about it?
I like it.
I do too.
I do. It's really good. And I have a client years ago that has a gluten-free brand called Andean, A-N-D-N, and it's sold at Erewhon and Whole Foods, and it's all across the country.
Great.
That's a great brand too.
I will 100% check that out. I love learning about all the new brands and all the options. I've been seeing some really cool ones. I know there's like cauliflower pasta now and like zucchini pasta, and it's not like actual cauliflower. It's made with cauliflower, like flour basically, which is so cool.
It is very cool what's happening. It's a little overwhelming for people, I'm sure, right? But the options are incredible, and the choices are getting better in terms of the taste and the quality. I know with the vegan cheeses, like the cheese spreads, or some of the cheeses that don't melt so well as time has gone on, there's definitely some better options out there.
Yeah.
That do like substitute well for real cheese. So.
Oh yeah, for sure. Not to mention there are so many amazing dips out there right now. Have you heard of the Hope? I know these are like free advertisements for people. The Hope dips. They're like, obsessed, like cashew, almond, garlic. I will scream. So good. Also,
I have one that I'm a little obsessed with. Is Misha's truffle vegan bread. We do it as a dip. So you get gluten-free crackers or a rice cake or whatever. I mean, have you heard of the Misha's?
No. Where do I find it?
So the Misha's truffle is a little hard to find. I love truffle. It's at Pantry LA.
Ah, yes. I love me some Pantry.
For some reason, it's not Erewhon, but Erewhon does have Misha's, but they sell out like crazy.
In 2 seconds. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So oh my God, they have a lox one, and then they have a French Connection Misha so when we have people over, and I always serve them, gluten-free chips or like crackers, and then the vegan cheese spreads to see. I won't tell them. They probably already know because they're coming to my house.
They're at your house. Yeah. They're like, what's this? What is this made out of? Peas?
Able to have them go like, wow, this is really good.
I love that. That's the thing that, like we were talking about, it's not a sacrifice.
No, that's exactly.
Like, it's just not like it all can be done with pleasure. Like, it doesn't have to be a sacrifice. And that's huge.
Absolutely. And in moderation and with flexibility. You don't have to eat every meal like that, but if you just incorporate one really good meal a day is a really good start. I try to get my animal protein eaters to just have animal protein once a day and have a plant-based meal be the other one or two.
Yes.
And it makes a huge difference.
Oh my God, completely. I was raised in a way where we ate meat every single day, for sure. I mean, that was just what it was. And,
and it was 3 times a day, right?
Oh, for sure. And that changed, so much over the years, of course, but man, it's also so different because, like you and I both, I was in New York for 11 years and now I'm here. Yes. You have these kind of bubbles of communities where it's like, I can go and walk to Creation Juicery. I can go and walk to Pantry LA. I can go and walk to Erewhon, and get all these things. And the same thing goes in New York. So it is such a different, it's just a different dynamic and a different world that we see because it's available,
Sorry about that.
Oh, don't be at all. Please. This is the beauty of living in Los Angeles.
So many helicopters. Oh my God.
Oh, well, I mean, hey, election week, Los Angeles, we're just doing the best we can. That's all we got.
It's quiet, weirdly quiet. Though,
Yeah.
too, right?
Oh, completely. Well, I don't know if you can hear Hugo snoring right now, but Hugo is snoring like a champion through this whole thing. So
Okay. I love it. So we put Hugo to sleep.
yes, we put him, he is now resting. And even Hugo eats, dogs are supposed to, eat animal protein more often. But I started actually making Hugo's food. And Hugo eats organic ground beef mixed with organic spinach, organic peas, and organic pumpkin. And that's his meal. Yeah.
What a lucky dog.
He's a lucky dog, but he's a pretty, pretty boy. And I do think it is because of the quality. I'm like, you eat better than most humans.
And that's another thing we should touch on. I mean,
Yes.
I just turned 60 and I have
Get
never
out, first of all.
in my entire life. I mean, I feel good. I feel like I feel better than I did when I was 30 or 40.
Damn, girl.
I'm saying that I have more energy. My mental clarity is clearer.
Yes.
I feel like my skin is better just by the way, I eat and how I mindfully eat and,
Yes.
how I take care of myself.
Okay. First of all, I'm shooketh. Second of all, 60, when I hear that number, I'm like, okay, you're not like, first of all, young, but second of all, you look absolutely radiant.
Thank you.
Holy shiza.
It's so, I never thought, you just never know what's ahead for yourself, but I never thought I would feel this way. To be able to, feel like that's what I like to tell people is like when they're in a bad place and they don't feel good about themselves and they feel like as they get older, they're just going to feel worse and they're going to have all these ailments come up for them. And it's just simply not true.
Completely. It doesn't have to be. It does not have to be. Okay. So I think I don't know if you saw, but I posted something on my Instagram just before we started and I was like, does anyone have any questions? Does anyone have any questions? And I got a couple questions, but I think we've kind of touched on them. But one of them was from a girl who struggles with itching. Like she has really bad itching. It's like a weird autoimmune response. She's done all sorts of cleanses. She's cut out sugar. She's cut out gluten. She's cut out dairy. She's stopped eating all sorts of stuff. And for some reason, her body is just like not having it. And she just keeps itching. And I don't know if this is something you would know about, but she asked. So I'm going to ask. For someone who's tried everything, like what's next?
I wonder, is that, because I know, is it a dry skin issue or is it just is it a kind of just, because, dry skin is related a lot to the eczema or the thyroid, when you have thyroid issues, hypothyroidism, you have very dry skin.
Yes.
And you can have definitely a lot of itching happening.
Sure.
So, and then she probably doesn't have eczema because she would say she had eczema with that too. But I know for me, I do struggle with my thyroid. Now it's in line. I do have hypothyroidism, Hashimoto's.
Yes.
So I've had itching over the years, definitely because of my dry skin.
Yes.
And I know that basically, I mean, I don't know if she's tried juicing every day and, really properly hydrating herself. potentially she has.
No, but this is really good feedback. The thyroid I don't think the thyroid has come up for her, because she gave me a nice little list of things she's kind of like she went to a dermatologist and they were like, maybe it's eczema. And then they like threw a bunch of stuff at it and nothing touched it. Someone said something about maybe a nerve issue, that it was kind of this weird nerve issue, but I don't know if that's.
So, I think that, right. It could be like in terms of like it could be that her central nervous system is, operating at a too like intense place. And it could be potentially thyroid related. And she's just also too not really properly hydrated. There's a powder that I always am talking about by this company called Ultima Replenisher Hydrating Powder. It is a little stevia, but I've been using it for 10 years. And it actually is full of macro minerals. So you just want to put in enough in your water just to your taste level, because if you do what they say on the bottle, it's way too sweet and tastes metallic-y from the stevia.
Yikes.
But
I hate that.
It actually does really hydrate you fully. And I know when I used to travel more and I'd put like a travel packet of this stuff in a 32-ounce bottle of water and I'd get on a plane to go to New York. Interestingly, I wouldn't have to get up and go to the bathroom. Yeah. Because I was hydrated.
I've seen this stuff before. I literally just Googled it because I was like, this sounds fantastic. I want to get some of this. I'm totally buying some.
Our family is kind of addicted to the lemonade and orange.
My mom buys. I think she probably bought it because of you.
Oh, did she?
I'm sure.
Talked about it for years.
Oh yeah, she loves it.
It's a great thing to like just really make sure you're hydrated, and it just gives you mental alertness. It gives you energy. It curbs your appetite. It's kind of incredible stuff. So
I am so on it, and I will definitely let her know. And I'm sure she will listen to this podcast anyway. So I just realized it's already been 40 minutes. I don't know how that happened, but it has. Can you maybe leave us? Well, before we start our little rapid fire round, because I like to just know things about you because you're such a tender human. But before we do that, do you have maybe 3 supplements or 3 things that you feel like everyone should be taking or eating or having?
Oh, got a really hard question at the end. Oh my God.
Love you. Mean it.
I love supplements. I'm a supplement junkie, but I would say, right now, zinc. So there's a specific zinc. It's Eidon, E-I-D-O-N. It's a liquid ionized zinc. Zinc is crucial for your immunity, but it's also crucial for COVID stuff going on.
Yes.
So you want to at least put 1 dropper in your water once or twice a day. I do twice a day right now. I would say also liposomal C. Quicksilver makes a really one that tastes good. I don't love the packet ones that they sell everywhere. I think they're funky tasting. So You do a teaspoon of liposomal C twice a day. Also, C calms down the central nervous system. It's an antiviral. It builds immunity. So a home run. Magnesium there's one innate response, magnesium 300 milligrams. I have everybody on before bed. And there's many more, but I'll stop there.
I just can't believe you just pulled those out. You just were like, whoosh, here you go.
I'm obsessed with the supplement market.
That was good. Okay. So I'm just going to ask you a few questions, and I would love to know just whatever comes to mind first, or it's a kind of this or that sort of thing. So I call it my little rapid fire round. So just answer as you will. Coffee or tea?
Coffee.
New York or LA?
LA.
Sex or sleep?
Oh,
I know. So rude.
Rude. Really. Yes.
Good work. Good answer. Ebook or a hard copy?
A hard copy.
Yes, totally. Same. Cat or dog?
Dog.
Yes. Hugo says thank you. And to me right now, I'm the most grateful for.
Oh, I'm the most grateful for loving myself.
Oh, girl. Yes. She's a queen. And the thing that I want everyone to know is?
You can heal from anything. And life could be better for yourself. So don't give up. Don't give up.
The mic has been dropped. Elissa, thank you so much for being on the show.
No, I want to thank you for being you. And this is such a fun podcast. I haven't done one of these in a while. It's this fun. So, and this heartfelt. So it's been really, really fun to go on with you.
Thank you. I truly, truly adore you.
Love you.
Love you. Mwah.
All right, you guys, thank you so much for carving out the time to listen to this wisdom, to listen to all this goodness. Once again, gentle reminder to please check out savagelosangeles.com to learn more about my new company that I'm so proud of. I hope it inspires you to create and cultivate a life that you dig. And also, if you are down and have, 10 seconds, then please give this podcast a 5-star review on iTunes. Super easy. Just give it 5 stars, maybe say a few kind words. And if you dug it, please share it with your friends. I would be over the moon with gratitude. All right. You guys are the bee's knees. Much love. Stay savage.